Need zones are, in my opinion, one of the absolute most important things to understand about the Hunter Call of the Wild. Once you understand them, you'll know why animals move the way they do, how they behave, and for me it made a huge impact on how many animals I saw and just generally the amount of trophy animals I could find, especially when it came to hunting a specific species. So if you don't know anything about need zones, there are 3 different types. There are drink zones, rest zones, and feed zones, and basically they are where animals spend pretty much their entire day. Animals have a schedule and they spend different amounts of time in each of those zones every day. We'll get into that in a little bit, but first off, if you don't know, need zones are discovered in 2 different ways. You can either spot animals that are in a zone, and you get the drink zone added at the top, or if we were to go over there and pick up the track, that would add the zone to our map as well. And once that's done, we can zoom in. We see there's a whitetail deer zone at the bottom right there from 1230 to 1500 for drinking. So we know from that the whitetail always drink from 1230 to 1500, and generally there's about a half-hour difference on those. So sometimes they'll be 12 to 1500 or 1230 to 1530, but roughly 12 to 1500 is whitetail drink time. And it's important to understand that every whitetail in the game will be drinking in that time frame. Now it can, as I said, vary about 30 minutes. So what they do before drinking is rest. They might be resting until about 12:30, but they will go to drink during that time frame. Every single whitetail on the map will go drink somewhere during that. So hopefully that first part makes sense. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'll try to be answering them, and I know a lot of you guys respond to other comments you see, and I always appreciate it because there are usually a lot. But animals, as I said, have schedules, and they stick to the same schedule every single day. And we're going to have a spreadsheet in the Discord. It's not there yet. I'll hopefully get it soon. By the time this video comes up, it might be, but I'll get it there as soon as I can. And that spreadsheet will have every single animal schedule in the entire game. And when I say schedules, let's just take whitetail since we just took one out. Whitetail have 6 different things they do every day, and most species have 6. Sometimes it's 5. But basically, here's the breakdown of a whitetail deer's daily schedule. From midnight to 5 a.m., whitetail deer will rest. From 5 to 9, they feed. From 9 to 12, they rest again. And then from 12 to 1500, they drink, which is the important one, but we'll come back to that. From 1500 to 2100, they feed again. And from 2100 to midnight, they rest. And then that schedule is going to repeat. Every single day, that's going to repeat. And if we were to go back to that zone where we just shot the buck, let's say I didn't shoot him. We could go back on any day, and he would be there during that time frame. They use the same zones, as long as the time is right, every single time. Now, it is important to remember, if we go back on the map here, this is the zone, and it's roughly the size of the hunting pressure that they could be around it. Now, drink zones obviously are a little closer to the water, but especially for feed zones and rest zones, there can be a pretty big range around the actual icon where they'll be. So they might not be like exactly the same coordinates, but they'll be in the area and they will be using that zone. So that's really important to understand, because a lot of people, I get comments and chats in live streams all the time saying, you know, I had some kind of animal, I lost it, and now I can't find it again. If you had a zone from it, it will be back in that zone during the time. Now, I mentioned drink zones are the important ones, and there are 2 really big reasons for that. Reason number 1 is it's very obvious where drink zones are going to be. We can go to my beginner account, which we're not on currently, and we'll go to Parque Fernando, because we've never been there. I've never touched that map, but we can go there and we can see where pretty much every drink zone is going to be. So Parque Fernando, I have nothing discovered on this map in my beginner series, but yet I can look at the map and know where pretty much all the drink zones are going to be. And to a lot of you this is going to be obvious, but everywhere that there's blue, that's where animals will drink. We can't zoom in on the map here and say an animal probably feeds here or probably rests here, but I can zoom in here and say animals probably drink here. Obviously, they can only drink at water, and that is why I focus so much on drink zones. You can know where they are on the map just by looking. You don't have to guess. Generally, the nice thing about water too is you can be like across the water, kind of long range from animals so they can't hear you or see you. That's nice as well, but just in general, knowing where the zones are with such accuracy, that's the important thing to me. And that's why I place so much focus on drink zones when I'm hunting, because you can't just look at a map and know where a feed zone is going to be or a rest zone is going to be. But you can always look, you can see where the water is, and you'll know generally where animals are going to drink. Now, the other important thing about drink zones is that other zones tend to revolve around water, so check this out. This is an area that I hunt on Layton a lot. Now, we just had the true patch, so a lot of zones were reset. There were a lot more in here, but look how many feed zones are in here. There's a ton right on the water, and a few rest zones. Like I said, the patch has reset a bunch of them, but zones tend to revolve around water. So if you're hunting drink zones for a specific species at a specific time, effectively you can still be hunting other animals as you do it because they're likely to be in view as they're feeding or resting. So another reason to really focus on drink zones because you can run into other stuff as you're hunting for your target species. By the way, here's a pretty good example of what I was just talking about. I came down here looking for whitetail because it's their drink time, and we got a herd of blacktail feeding literally right on the water, so one of them happens to be decent, level 4, so we'll take him out. But I said that we'd look into how to take advantage of understanding need zones, and really what you want to do is use the spreadsheet, find out what time the species you want to go after drinks, and rest, make it that time, and go crazy. Hunt as much as you can, as many water sources as you can, because not every water source is going to have a zone for the species you're after, but a lot of them will. And the nice thing about it is, as we see here, you can find animals in other zones as well. So, I hope that all makes sense, and if you're maybe more of a veteran of the game and don't necessarily understand zones, you can hopefully use this to your advantage if you're looking for specific diamonds. If you're newer to the game, look for animals that give really high cash amounts. Gemsbuck are a really, really good suggestion, especially if you bought Weapon Pack 3. Use the 30-06. Don't worry about quick kill too much, or go for harder brain shots. That'll bring them down pretty easily. And when they're drinking, of course, they have their head down. They give you a pretty decent opportunity for a brain shot. But yeah, use that spreadsheet. Like I said, it's going to be out soon. We'll get it in the Discord, and it's going to help a lot. I really think I was able to start focusing on specific diamonds and getting diamonds that I was actually after when I understood need zones and when I started hunting those animals during their zone times. It makes a huge difference. I mean, you go from not finding any of the animals you're looking for to really focusing on those animals and finding other ones. As we still continue to do, blacktail feeding right off the water. Water is huge. Like I said, it's not only the drink zones you end up hunting, and that makes a big difference as well. And again, if you're confused about anything, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'll try to go through, I'll try to answer as many of them as I can, and hopefully this video did a decent job of actually explaining stuff. I know I'm not great at explaining, but I try to make this as clear as possible. I think it's the thing that made the biggest difference for me in the amount of trophy animals and just animals in general I was able to find, so hopefully it can do that for you too. And one final time I'll say it, we got 2 850 plus golds by hunting water, looking for a different species. So, I think that's going to wrap this up. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.